Hi everyone, welcome back to Bushwick Park Golf Club. So today we're going to be looking at holes 5 and 6. So starting on the 5th hole, this is the longest par 3 we actually have at the golf club. Measures from the whites at just over 200 yards, plays somewhere between 195 and 208 at the back. So it's a long shot. So it's going to take a lot of club to get it back, right the way back to this back pin. But I know a lot of people can't necessarily make it to the hole, and really a lot of people I play with sort of pull drivers when they're struggling to get the distance on it. What I'd always say is look at where the dangers are. There are 3 deep bunkers around the front of this green, and they're all good 20-30 yards short of the flag, which is a tough bunker shot. So if you are struggling to carry those consistently, play up short. Work with your wedges, play a shot that's roughly about 140, and then leave yourself a good 40-50 yards in. That way gives you the best possible chance of making your par and keeping your scorecard going really on a tough hole. So what I'll always do is I'll always aim to start on the left hand side of this tee box. Opens up the hole the most. I can now start to see some of the room I have to the right side of this green as well. The further right we go, the more those trees start to encroach on my shot, and the smaller this target actually looks. Now I also like to play sort of fade on this hole as well. So starting down the left gives me more room to work with, to work the ball back to the target. Right, so I'm going to show you a 40-yard bunker shot from the front of this 5th green. So I'm in the middle of the 3 bunkers, so it's the longest bunker shot we have, and from here to this front flag is 43 yards. So I've got a couple of options. I can either try and play a very long version of what I'd normally do, which is going to require a lot of speed, so it's going to be a very long swing and depends on your confidence and skill level. So with that, what I mean is club face would be slightly open. We don't need huge amount of lift, so we don't need to lay the club completely flat, but we do need to lay it slightly open. Ball's going to be forward, weight's going to be forward, and I'm going to do a long swing to try and get this ball right the way back to the hole. Alternatively, what we can do is we can utilise some of your other wedges. So there's no problem playing a pitching wedge or a gap wedge out of these bunkers, and you treat the shot exactly the same. You open the club up still because we still want to increase that bounce, and I'm going to play the same sort of shot as I would from a greenside bunker. Still a long version, but with a slight decrease in loft, just helps a little bit with the distance. So we're going to play my 54. I'm going to open the club face up slightly, ball forward, weight forward, so all those things stay exactly the same. And give us a nice long swing, trying to fly it right the way to this flag. Now because of the length of this swing, there's going to be a lot of spin and this ball is going to grab up nice and quick, but it does require a lot of confidence to do that longer swing for this kind of length shot. Right, so I've short-sided myself after my tee shot, left myself to the left of this green and this front pin. So really now I'm looking at trying to get myself up and down as quickly as I can. So I'm going to have to go open over this bunker. The problem is the back edge of the bunker is a downslope before it gets to the actual green. The green is slightly above me as well, so all those things are going to make this ball release a little bit more, and not to mention the fact that we're coming out of this slight rough. So really the lie is going to be crucial here to depend on what I'm going to do. So if it's sitting nicely as this one is, I'm really going to be able to play whatever shot I like. If we get to a point where the ball is sitting down in the grass, or I've got a bunch of grass behind the ball, it's going to change how much this ball's going to spin, and it's going to change how the ball's going to react on the green. So I would change the shot I'm going to play for here. So I'll show you how we play it for both. So first one is what we call a finesse wedge. Now this is a shot that we play anywhere around the green, and the setup is very similar to how you do a pitch. So ball forward, weight forward is your generic setup. The difference here is because we can't shorten the swing anymore, we have to change another variable. So what I'm going to do is keep the swing fairly long and just really drop the speed. So whereas a pitch is sort of up to waist high or shoulder high, or as a clock face would be, and it's quite quick, so it'd be waist high and driven through. A greenside pitch or a finesse wedge is a lot softer, so the length of the swing might be the same, but the whole speed is reduced. And that's going to allow us to play this much higher, softer shot. Not to mention the fact that when I'm playing this shot, I can let the club overtake the hands or under release. So I'm going to get the club to feel like it's sliding under the ball if I need extra loft. So in this case, it's exactly what I'm going to do. So I've got my nice lie, I've got myself set with the club face slightly open. Just going to help add that loft. Ball forward, weight forward. I'm just going to let the club slide under the ball. So then we can get it landing on the green just past the downslope and not releasing out too much, and try and give us our best chance of making an up and down. Alternatively, if the ball is sitting in where there's grass behind the ball, if it's sitting nice enough that I can actually feel I can get the club underneath the ball still, I might play the same shot with a little bit more of an open club face because the ball's not going to spin as much. If the ball is sitting down, then really I'm going to change my alignment. I'm not going to be aiming at the flag because this ball is going to run. I'm going to take a target maybe a little bit more to the left, which is going to give me a landing area that's a little bit closer to me. It does give me a longer putt in, but it gives me a better chance of having a putt rather than going straight to the flag and possibly running off the other side of the green if I can't make a clean enough contact to this ball. So sometimes we're going to have to aim away from the target to give ourselves the best chance of making our best score. It's not always aim at the flag and just keep going for it. So the green at the 5th hole, all slopes really from slight back to front and also from left to right and right to left. We've got this kind of bowling into the middle. Everything around this left-hand bunker trap is going to bring the ball in from left to right, and everything we have from the mounds down the right is also going to get it filtering in slightly right to left. The only difference to that is this back right portion, this back right corner. So everything bowls into that kind of vicinity. So if we're putting from middle to back forwards into this green, it is going to start to roll away from us down, slightly down the slope. We are obviously, depending on where the flag is, to the left or to the right side, it's going to filter away from those edges. If we're going the other way and we're putting up the green, so we're going from front to back, really we've got to be watching where this bowl is on this right hand side. Everything's going to want to filter in that way because that's where all the water kind of collects, and that's going to give us an indication of which way this hole's going to go. So it's all going to go off to that on this back corner, whereas this front portion all needs to go off to the other side. Okay, so 6th hole, first of our par 5s around here at Bushel Park. Measures just over 540 or just under 540 yards, depending on where the whites are placed from. Tee shot is critical if you're looking to go for this in 2 for the longer guys, and really it's all about your 3rd shot if you're one of the shorter hitters. So your 2nd shot and 3rd shot are obviously critical to getting a good score on this hole. Now this tee shot is one shot I struggle with. I can't see a shape shot. I can see multiple shapes, but I can't see a shot I can commit to or feel comfortable playing every time I'm on this hole. So a lot of the time I won't necessarily pull driver. We do in matches when we're playing, partly because it helps sort of the team side of things, or if we're in the Texas Scrambles and things like that, it helps the team if we do hit a good one and we can get down there. But if I was playing, I would probably personally hit 3-wood or maybe even a 2-iron. Keep myself short of that right hand bunker. Issue with the driver is if it does go straightish and stay down that right edge, then the bunker is well in range. Other issues are ball leaking off too far to the right and the trees become a problem. And also the trees on the back of the 5th are also an issue because they're reachable for the longer guys. So really you've got to play your tee shot up to into your own strengths or weaknesses. So what I'm going to attempt on this one is the shot I generally try to play, which is aiming down the left-hand edge. So there's a 150-yard mark. I'm going to aim at that point and allow for a little fade. The only time I'd alter that really is if the wind was hard off the right, where I might be actually inclined more to use that wind and start down the right side and let it turn in from right to left. I really wouldn't want to try and hold it against the wind, especially if it's a strong wind, because as soon as that ball starts getting up in the air, it's going to start drifting and then I've given myself some problems. So we're going to be aiming down the left edge, allowing this ball just to cut back into the fairway. Okay, so just quickly go through a shot that I know a lot of people I've played with have struggled with, and that's really down either left or right side, being in the rough. So some of this rough can get quite thick at times, so like this one, you can probably barely see it from the camera, but this ball is sitting down with grass behind it, grass in front of it, in a little hole. So really what I want to make sure I do is loft really is your friend on this one. So I'm going to judge the shot I want to play. I'm going to go up one if not two clubs as far as adding loft. So if I normally want to play a 5, and for this one I've actually got 6 in my hand. What I'm going to do is favour the left side. So I want to move my weight into my left foot a little bit at the start of my swing, and just want to maintain that. So normal setup compared to this shot out of the rough. So weight's favouring this left side. Just going to allow me to hit a bit more down onto this golf ball. And I just want to make sure that I commit to this swing. So I've got my weight forward and keep it on that left side. I'm going to commit right the way through to the end of my shot. Now we're not going to neglect anything else as far as your target line and things like that's concerned. That's all relevant, but we just want that weight favouring that left foot at the start of the swing. Another good example of a shot played down this hole is the ball leaking off to the right. Now I've been over here plenty of times myself, so I know that there's 2 options to play. We either have playing it down the 12th. Be warned, when you get down there, obviously your next shot is going to have or require a lot more elevation, and it's a very tough shot from down there when you're going into the green with 7, 8 irons for longer guys, or even fairway woods for some of the short guys. So it is an option, but really just beware. The other option is getting ourselves back out into play, either going directly left or going forward just down the left hand side. So for this shot I'm going to take it down the left hand side of the trees. Ball's a little bit below my feet, so it's going to want to cut back anyway, so it's going to help me a little bit get this ball chasing. Now good thing to remember here is don't get greedy. We're not looking to try and hit this as hard as physically possible to get it as far up there, because my target line here is going to really be the 150 yard or 100 yard marker on the left hand side of the fairway. So if I hit it as best as I can down that side, I'm now going to be in rough again. So we just want to be precise with where we're aiming, precise with what we want to get out of the shot, and we don't want to put too much speed into it. The more speed we get, the more elevation we're going to get. So it's going to be a long, loose swing, this one. Ball's going to favour the back foot slightly, certainly back in the stance, and weight's going to favour that left side, same as we did for the shot out of the rough. But I'm going to be aiming down the left side. Ball's back in the stance. Weight's on the front foot, and a long, smooth swing through this ball. Right, so for the times we do hit good tee shot down here, I've now got a chance of going for this green, especially as the green slopes, or fairway in front of the green slopes from left to right and chases its way down. So flag's tucked right on the right hand side of this hole, so it is a slight dog leg from left to right as we approach. And certainly the trees that sort of overhang the corner have got some height to them, so I need to make sure that I'm carrying those at a minimum really. So for this shot I've got 240 yards in, so I'm going to be hitting my hybrid, come up a little bit short of that and just let it chase down this hill. So I'm aiming down the left side of the trees and letting it filter back. Okay, so the final tricky shot we have on this 6th hole really is it's going to be this fairway trap. So if you do play your 2nd or 3rd and run into this trap, we've now got somewhere in the region of about 90 to 100 yards out of a fairway bunker. No real lip, so we've got no lip really to sort of worry about. So really it's just making good contact with this ball. So unlike the green side bunker or that 30-yard bunker shot, we're not going the club face up here. What we're really looking to do is try and hit the ball first. So I'm going to have the ball a little bit more neutral, like a full swing would be. I'm not going to bury my feet too much. Okay, I'd just like to get a little bit of support in there, so just get a little bit of a wiggle down. Ball's going to be sort of middle to slightly in front of centre, very close to where you'd have a normal full swing shot. But I am going to favour my weight onto my left side a little bit again, because I want to make sure that I'm contacting this ball rather than the sand first. If I can hit the ball first, this ball's going to go fairly not close to its normal yardage. So ball's towards the middle, weight into that left side. I'm concentrating on hitting the ball before the sand. So really the sound that you get from the shot will signify if you've done what you need to do. I'm still going to hit sand, that's not going to change because I want this club to be going down into the ball, but I want to make sure I strike the ball first. And really, if you can hear that click of the ball, you've done your job. If you hear too much of a puff, so the sand being hit, caught the sand too early, generally it's because your weight's going to be shifting back. So ball towards the centre, weight favouring the left side, ball to be hit first. Okay, so my shot of the green's come up slightly short and now I'm left on this down slope. Pin's in the middle, so it's helping a little bit. But one thing that does help is this green's actually raised up at the back. So, well, it's levelled out more than anything, but we're not pitching to a green that's sloping away, so it's going to help me getting this ball to stop a little bit quicker. Coming off the down slope is going to mean this ball's going to come out a little bit lower than normal, but I've got a 58-degree wedge in my hand, so it's not going to change an awful lot. It is just going to release a little bit more than it usually would. So the key here really is about picking a precise landing area. You've got to pick a target where you want this ball to land. And everything I do is around that landing area. So the landing area I pick is based on where the flag is, what I think the ball's going to do once it hits the green, how it's going to come out. So once I've got that spot, all my concentration goes into that one spot. So I've got a target just to the right of the hole, and it's about halfway between the edge of the green and the flag. So I feel happy with the length of my swing, so I'm going to line myself up to that spot. Weight on the front foot, ball on the front foot, and play my shot in. So I pulled that fraction, it started a little bit left of where I wanted to go, but pitched level with where I expected it to. And the ball stopped nice and quickly, based on the strike was good. So really, like I say, these shots, anything around the green, 50 yards or so, make sure you pick out a landing area, and everything you do is about that landing spot. Okay, so just quickly on this 6th green. So 6th green itself has a bit of a tabletop to it, and everything 6 feet from the edge, all slopes away back towards the edge. It is built up slightly at the back, but mostly to flatten this whole surface off. It's not built up to create this sort of big uphill putt from front to back. In all fairness, the right side of the screen is slightly higher than the left, so it is going to want to break that way, but certainly its back left corner drops away a lot more than the top right corner. It's worth noting, if you've got a long putt, which most of the time you will have on this hole, this ball is going to break a lot from back to front and from right to left. Now what I'm going to do here, this is where my shots finish from the bunker. So based on what we've just said, this putt is going to be a little bit uphill because I'm putting towards the right corner, and it's also going to be from right to left because we're putting across the slope. So I'm going to pick a target just to the right edge of the hole, rehearse, set myself up, and I'm just going through my normal putting routine. Look at the target, look at the ball, let it go. So I'm just taking myself through my normal routine there, but I've picked a target, got a clear idea of where I want to go, and I've rolled my putt. So thanks for watching, hope that helps you on the 5th and 6th hole, and as always, happy golfing.